Our next speaker will have some important kind of legal information for anybody in this space. Jeremy Goldman is a lawyer, 15 years experience, focusing on copyrights of NFTs and Web3, and he's going to be talking about the 3-layer copyright cake. Jeremy, welcome. You can just grab a mic from one of those. Yeah.
Hello, whoa, wow, random assortment of people who happen to be here. I'm sure everyone came to see this particular thing, but I would actually, hopefully this will be useful for you. So today we're going to talk about copyright and intellectual property, and I've sort of put together what I call a thesis for how to think about, to understand copyright and how it plays into NFTs. Okay. And I call this the 3-layer infinitely divisible copyright cake. So first, what is intellectual property? And by the way, this is at the core of everything that we're doing here, is IP. People talk about it. People talk about securities laws and all this other stuff. IP is at the core of all of this. And so let's learn a little bit about what is IP. There's a trifecta in the United States. It's copyright, trademark, patent, right? They're all important with NFTs, but really it's copyright, okay? And we're gonna learn about what copyright is. Trademark is, you know, talking about what is the origin of the source of a good or a service. A patent deals with inventions, right? Copyright is the content. It's the movies, it's the books, it's the art, it's the content, it's the expressive ideas. And in the Copyright Act, it says it's original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium of expression. We're to talk about tangible when we're talking about digital objects, but we'll get to that. A copyright is a set of exclusive rights, often described as a bundle of sticks. And the bundle of sticks that you get when you own a copyright is the exclusive right, meaning no one else can do any of these things. No one else can reproduce, can make copies, make derivative works. So no one else can take a screenplay that you wrote and turn it into a movie or turn it into a video game. That's your exclusive right to distribute it out to the public, to perform it, right? If it's music or if it's a play, you make your work, only you have the right to do that, or to display it publicly is something that only the copyright owner has, right? That's what a copyright is. It's a bundle of sticks, and as we'll learn, they're infinitely divisible. You can own the copyright, and then you can give out these sticks to different people on an exclusive or non-exclusive basis. But I want everyone to keep this in mind. What are those 6 rights that come with copyright? Really important concept to understand is that copyright law distinguishes between the material object and the intellectual property in the material object. So on the left side, you have a collector that bought a painting. The collector owns the physical object of the painting, but the artist that made the artwork retains all of the intellectual property rights. All of those rights that we just looked at, those bundle of sticks, stay with the author. They stay with the artist unless they grant that out. And so there's a distinction between the physical object and the rights in the physical object, and I call that ye old 2-layer copyright cake, right? We have the material object and the copyright in the material object, 2 different value propositions, right? So that when you make Lord of the Rings, the studio still owns all of the rights in Lord of the Rings, but they can sell DVDs and they can sell merchandise, they can sell physical objects and even streaming rights, which are sort of like the material object, but the studio retains all of the intellectual property rights in it. Those are the 2 sort of levers you have as a creator in order to exploit your rights in the old world. Well, let's introduce NFTs. Where do they fit into this mix? What do you get when you buy an NFT? It's a really metaphysical discussion that I haven't heard people talk about a whole lot. What is it that you get when you get an NFT? It's a favorite topic amongst lawyers and intellectual property lawyers. From that 2-layer cake, what do you get? Do you get a material object when you buy a non-fungible token? Definitely not. On the left side, I have MFR. MFR does stand for what you think it stands for. 106, this was airdropped to me. And MFR is, I don't get a material object. The JPEG or the SVG, the image file, is hosted on IPFS. No one sent me a physical thing. No one sent me a digital thing. So I definitely did not get any material object. Did I get any copyright interest? Did I get a license? Did I get anything like that? No, I didn't get anything with my MFR. In fact, the artist that made the MFR project, Satoshi, who is maybe here. No one knows who Satoshi is. So Satoshi has left the internet, apparently. Do I get a copyright interest? No, because Satoshi made the decision to grant, to put all of the copyright into the public domain and to basically relinquish all rights that the artist had in the work and to say everyone can use this. It's called CCO. Some folks may have heard about that. It's basically saying I renounce my copyright. Anyone can use this artwork. So I don't get the material object. I don't get the copyright. So what in the world is it that I get? Hat tip to BC Gandalf, a really, really smart blockchain commentator and theorist who explains that all you get at its core, when you strip it all down, all of this that we're doing here at this conference, all of this insanity, you are getting the exclusive right to edit a field in a spreadsheet. Okay, that spreadsheet is stored inside of a smart contract, and there's an owner field in that smart contract in the spreadsheet that has who is the token owner, and on the bottom, that's me, EA2. That's my wallet address. It's linked to an image file, and all you get when you buy an NFT, absent some other contract or some other terms, is the exclusive right to edit what's in that field. That's it. That's it. That is an exclusive right to edit a field in a spreadsheet, and the only thing that you can edit it with is a new owner. So the only right you have is to transfer that thing to somebody else. That is an exclusive right that is extremely powerful, really simple and stupid, and also sort of it's really revolutionary in what's happened, because what we've done now is we've created a third layer of the copyright cake. And it's really important as people think about these projects to understand that we're no longer just talking about the material object. We're no longer just talking about the intellectual property rights. I've had people call it the Web 2 rights. No, this is intellectual property rights, the ability to use the art. Now we're talking about another lever, another value that people have that's independent and potentially connected to the other layers of the cake. And that's the token layer, right? That layer of saying who ascribes ownership, like when we want to say who owns this work. It's not saying who owns the material object. It's not saying who owns the intellectual property. We're just saying who owns the ability to edit that field in a spreadsheet. And for whatever reason, and you all are proof of this, people are placing tremendous value on the ability to ascribe ownership of this work. And as people think about their projects and trying to maximize value for a project, it's always, in my mind, important to think about how those different layers interact with each other, because people might buy something for the commercial rights to be able to take the IP, to take the artwork and do something with it, or people might just buy it for the sake of having the art itself, much like you would with the material object, right? CryptoPunks was a great example of that. It's sort of the granddaddy of NFT projects, and until Yuga Labs bought CryptoPunks, they weren't granting any rights with the CryptoPunks. They didn't give a license, so people bought it, yet the value was really there. Then Yuga Labs came out with apes, and they gave out a commercial license, and now they added that layer from the copyright cake. But they're two different layers. They both can be exploited. Finally, I just want to talk about how copyright is infinitely divisible. We talked about that bundle of sticks. When Congress passed the current Copyright Act, they did something very innovative, which didn't exist before, which was to say copyright is not a monolith. Copyright is this bundle of sticks, and not only can it be divided into those 6 different rights about distribution, copying, performance, etc., it can be further fractionalized. The IP can be infinitely fractionalized into exclusive territories, into duration, into media, into any different number of slivers and micro slivers. And I think what we're going to be seeing as people continue with this experimentation is using tokens and using NFTs and the communities of thousands of people to fractionalize those bundle of sticks to create value that's created by communities of people that all own different micro fractions of individual rights so that we can maximize the value for everyone involved. Thank you very much for learning about copyright today. I'll be here all week. Not true, I'm leaving tomorrow back to LA. So long and farewell. Thank you.